Creating discussions in Blackboard Original can be confusing. Let's talk about how to set up discussions and go over some terminology that'll be helpful to know for this process. Discussions do not actually live in your lesson. In the lesson, Blackboard is only creating a link that takes a student from the lesson to the discussion board. It's the same idea as linking to an external site. However, in this case, you're linking to a tool within your course. This means that you need to create both the discussion forum for your students to post to, as well as the link that helps the student reach that forum. While we're talking about it, what's the difference between a forum, thread, and a post anyway? If you go to your discussion tool, you'll see all of the discussion boards contained within your course. In this example, we have multiple discussion boards since this course is using student groups, and each of those groups are allowed to have their own discussion board. The main discussion board page displays a list of forums. A forum is where participants discuss a topic or a group of related topics. Within each forum, users can create multiple threads. A thread includes the initial post and all of the replies to it. Now let's get into creating a discussion. There are a few ways to start building your discussion, but we're going to start the process from our lesson since it's the method that instructors use the most. Go up to the Tools menu and select Discussion Board. Remember that when creating discussion boards in Blackboard, you are creating both the link that goes into the lesson and the discussion forum in the discussion board. You'll know where you're at by looking at the heading, Create Link, Discussion Board. This means that we are at the start of creating a link, but we need to set up a location to link to. Our current options are to link to the entire discussion board page that contains all of the discussions of our course, link to a forum that you've already created, or create a new forum. Since I need to create a new forum for this lesson in my course, I'm going to click the Create New Forum button. This is going to move us from the link building part of this process into creating the discussion. Looking at the heading of this new page, it says Create Forum. We will now build the actual discussion forum where our students will be participating. Here's where you will give your forum a name. As a best practice for your discussion name, it's good to include the unit, week, or lesson number, as well as a descriptive title. In the description area, add your discussion question. I'm going to copy my question from a Word doc I've created earlier. It's also helpful to include information on discussion specifications or requirements, which might be specs such as the number of responses to give classmates. There are additional options that we need to complete for the forum, but we will take a look at them later in this video. For now, let's click on the Submit button so that we don't get lost in the process of creating the discussion forum and creating the link to that forum. By clicking the Submit button, it returns us to a familiar page, Create Link, Discussion Board. Here, we still need to complete setting up the discussion link. We have a notification letting us know that our new forum has been successfully created as a location we can link to, and we can see this new forum in the list of available forums. Select the name of the new forum by clicking on the name and click the Next button. This is the point where things start to feel a little confusing in this process. This title and content area look exactly like everything else, and it feels like Blackboard is giving us a bit of a snafu. But hold on! Remember to look at the title up here. Create Link, Discussion Board. This means that we are still in the process of completing the link that will appear in the lesson, but we need to finish adding the detailed information that will be included with this link. So in this area, we are going to keep the link the same name as our discussion name for consistency. In the content editor, I'm going to once again add my discussion question. Since this discussion board link will be seen in the lesson, it will help the student identify and prepare for this type of activity. It's also a great idea to include your discussion specifications, as well as any instructions that may help a student complete this activity. The last piece of information to set up is the availability of this link. Using the date restrictions, you can decide when you'd like an item to be displayed to students, as well as when you'd like the item to be hidden. Using the Display After option will keep this link hidden from students until a specified date and time. Once that date and time pass, Blackboard will automatically make it available. If you want to hide an assignment so that students no longer have access after a certain date, set that in the Display Until area for Blackboard to automatically hide the item at that time. The very last item is to decide if you'd like to track the number of views of this discussion link. This is called statistics tracking. This will allow you to view detailed statistics for all enrolled users on any content item where you select this option. With those options now set, click the Submit button. Your newly created discussion link has been added to the bottom of your lesson. By only using the steps so far in this video, students will only have access to each individual discussion by entering the corresponding lesson or from their calendar and activity stream. You can also create a general link to the entire discussion board in your course's left-hand navigation. To do this, go to the Add Content button at the top of your course's navigation and choose Tool Link. Name the link Discussion Board and choose the Discussion Board tool from the drop-down menu. You can also decide if you want to show or hide the link from students. We are going to choose to allow the students to see the link. The new Discussion Board link will be added to the bottom of your course's navigation. You can move the link to a new location among your lessons by hovering to the left side of the link name. When you see the 4-direction arrow mouse pointer, click and drag the discussion board link to where you'd like. Let's click on the link to test it out and once again see all of the discussion boards contained within the course. We know the link is working when we see the discussion boards for our course and student groups. With this discussion board link now available to students, it means they will also have access to all of your discussion forums, even if you set availability to show at a later date on the link you created within your lesson. Remember that in the lesson it's only a link, and not the actual forum in the discussion board. If you want to allow students to have access to the entire discussion board, but don't want all of the forums available, you'll need to set the availability of each discussion. Let's take a look at how to do that now, as well as the other discussion forum options. I'll do that by going to the menu beside the name of the forum and choose Edit. The first set of options to look at are the forum availability options. The forum availability will allow you to choose when Blackboard automatically shows or hides the forum from your students. Keep Yes selected in this area, even if you want to add date restrictions. Next, we will choose our date restrictions. Using the Display After option will keep an assignment, content item, test, etc. hidden from students until a specific date and time. Once that date and time pass, Blackboard will automatically make it available to students. If you want to hide an assignment so that students no longer have access to submit after a certain date, set the Display Until area for Blackboard to automatically hide the item from students at that time. Make sure that each date's corresponding display checkbox is also selected. If you no longer want to use one of the availability dates, you can uncheck it. The date information will remain in these fields, but it will not affect the availability of the forum. Next, we will look at each of the forum settings. Standard view means that a student will see all of the previously created threads from other students in the forum. There is another option. Participants must create a thread in order to view other threads in this forum. When choosing this option, students must create their own response before they can read their classmates' posts. Once a student submits a response, they will be able to see what the other students have posted and create a reply to those students. This promotes students to come up with an original response to your forum. Next, we will look at grading options. You can choose not to grade a forum, especially if you use something like the cafe-style forum. If you'd like your discussion to be graded, you can choose a graded forum or thread, and a column is automatically created in the Grade Center. When you select Grade Discussion Forum, you'll type a point value to evaluate participants on the performance throughout a forum. When you select Grade Threads, you'll need to find and evaluate each participant's performance on each individual thread. As an instructor, it's easier to grade a student's participation in a discussion by selecting Grade Discussion Forum. So we are going to choose that in this example. By choosing Grade Discussion Forum, we can select the checkbox for Show Participants in Needs Grading Status and select the number of posts from the menu. Applying this setting displays the Needs Grading icon in the Grade Center after students make the specified number of posts. If you select a grading option and do not select the checkbox, the Needs Grading icon doesn't appear in the Grade Center and posts don't appear on the Needs Grading page. Since we want a student to create an initial thread in the discussion and reply to 2 classmates, I'm going to select 3 for this setting. The due date is different from your availability and display restrictions that we previously set. When you enable grading, you can provide a due date. Due dates are used to organize and assign gradable items to grading periods in the Grade Center. Graded posts made after the due date are marked late. Discussions with due dates automatically show in your students' calendars and in the To-Do module. If you have a rubric that you would like to add to your discussion, you will add it by clicking the button in this area and selecting your desired option. Alignments will be set automatically based on whether you're grading by discussion forum or thread. There's nothing to change here, so you can move to the next setting. Subscribing to a Blackboard discussion is similar to receiving an email notification with posting and replying on a social media platform. You can also allow students to subscribe to this forum or threads within the forum. Students who subscribe to a forum or thread receive notifications when activity occurs. The Create and Edit area are permissions you can set for the student's ability to create and edit within the forum. You can allow students to delete posts that they submit. You can allow students to edit the posts that they submit. You can allow students to create new threads. You can allow file attachments such as documents, images, or video. You can allow a student to reply with a quote to reference their classmates in their own reply. You can set each post to be moderated by you before instantly appearing to classmates. This means that you will have to review every post that your students submit before they can be viewed by other students. This is in addition to grading the discussion. One thing to note is that since this is a graded forum, it removes my ability to allow students to post anonymously since the work needs to be tied to the gradebook. But if the forum was not graded, we could check this box and allow students to leave anonymous posts. The items I recommend selecting are allowing students to edit posts, allowing students to create a new thread to this discussion, allowing file attachments, and allowing users to reply with a quote. The additional options enable students to tag or rate posts within the forum. Tags are text labels that act like bookmarks. You can tag posts to group similar messages together. For example, if the subject of scientific notation is discussed often, tag each of the posts on this topic. Keep in mind that students cannot create tags. It's something you as the instructor would need to do. Rating of posts is done in a 5-star scale. If one or more users have rated a post, the overall rating will appear in the form of stars next to the post. I will not be using these last two options, so I've left them unchecked. Finally, I will click Submit and save these settings. This will take me back to the discussion board for this course, and I am now done creating a link and my new discussion forum.